You paid $50,000 to build your software. It worked, you just signed up, everything was fine, and then 6 months later, they tell you we need another $150K to fix it. Now, I've built multiple projects like this. Scheduling apps, mobile apps, fintech platforms, e-commerce solutions. The pattern is always the same. And every single one of these founders wishes someone had told them this before they signed the check. Today I'm breaking down the 5 traps, the real math, and the 4 questions you need to ask before writing the first check. It works and it's built are different things. Your car works with no oil for a week, your software works with bad architecture for a while, then it doesn't. And fixing it costs 3 times what building it right would have cost, every single time. And here's what happens when you build software. Thousands of small decisions get made. How you store data, how you handle logins, how you deal with failure, under deadline pressure, teams pick up fast. Fast acts on fast acts on fast. Nobody raises a flag, nobody says this will cost us later, because in the moment it feels like progress, and then one day you add a simple feature and everything falls apart. I had a client last year, Series A startup, solid team. They came to us because features that used to take a week were taking a month. When we audited the code base, we found 40% of their sprint capacity was going to maintaining code nobody understood anymore. 40%. That's not a speed problem, that's a debt problem. Their CTO told me we hired 2 more engineers to speed things up, and you know what happened? Slower, because every new engineer had to navigate the same mess. More people on a broken system doesn't fix the system, it just means more people are stuck. Technical debt is like financial debt. You're paying interest whether you see the invoice or not. Every feature that takes 2 weeks when it should take 3 days, that's interest. Every developer who quits because the codebase is a nightmare, that's interest. Every time you're scared to deploy on a Friday, that's interest. And just like financial debt, you can't ignore it. You can't pretend it's not there, but it compounds. A 5% drag this month is a 15% drag in 6 months. A year from now, you're spending more on interest than on building anything new. Stripe's developer coefficient report found that companies lose an estimated $85 billion a year to technical debt. That's not my number, that's Stripe surveying thousands of engineering leaders globally. The $50,000 project doesn't become $200,000 because anyone screwed up. It became $200,000 because early decisions compound. Shortcuts in the foundation means cracks in every net's built on top, and that's the tax. You're paying it every day whether you see the invoice or not. And here's what nobody talks about. The moment you get the 150K estimate, that's the worst moment in the whole journey. You already spent 50K, you thought you were done, you were planning your next feature. Instead, you're staring at a number that's 3 times what you already paid just to get back to where you thought you already were. That's not a budget problem, that's a gut punch. And I've sat across the table from founders in that exact moment. Some of them are angry, some of them are embarrassed, and all of them feel like they were lied to. You weren't lied to, you just weren't told the whole truth. So then we got trap 1, database architecture that can't scale. It works for 100 users, crashes at 1,000. Every query is scanning millions of rows because nobody designed a schema for growth. At Shopify, I say this all the time. A dev builds a search, works great in testing, in production, 45 seconds, crashed the whole database. The code worked, just not in the real world. Same thing happens with database schema. No indexes, no partitioning, first 50 users, grand, big client signs up, 50,000 appointments a day, the whole thing falls over. And this is the trap. It works perfectly when the stakes are low, the demo is flawless, and the investor pitch goes great. Then real users show up. And here's how the scaling problem actually plays out. For 100 users, everything's fast, everyone's happy. For 500 users, pages start loading a little slower, but nobody panics. For 1,000 users, support tickets start coming in. The app is slow. Team says it's a server issue, throws more hardware at it. 50,000 users, it's down, peak hours. Your biggest client is on the phone asking what's going on, and now you're restructuring the database, migrating data, risking downtime, all while your users are watching. I've seen database restructuring run anywhere from 30K to 80K, depending on how deep the rock goes. All because nobody asked what happens at 10 times scale in month 1. Now, we got trap 2. The authentication is built on terrible foundations. Some developers decide to roll their own auth. And again, this involves building from scratch. Maybe they had a reason, maybe they thought they could do it better. Either way, auth isn't one thing, it's 15 things. It's password hashing, session management, 2-factor authentication, and that's just the start. Every single one of these can have security vulnerabilities. One breach and you're done. User data is exposed, trust destroyed, and you got legal liability with no ceiling. Unless you have a specific compliance reason to switch to custom, you should stitch, not build. For $25 a month, you can use battle-tested solutions. Obviously it scales more, but you can scale with user base. And these are maintained by security teams, and that's the move. The last auth rebuild I did, 30K, to replace something that should have been 25K a month from day 1. Here's where it gets interesting. 3 more traps, same pattern, and let me run through them. So you got trap 3, you got no caching strategy. This is where every request hits the database, every single one. We're which can be like 20 to 40K to retrofit. Then we got next, trap 4, tight coupling. This is the expensive one. You change one thing and 3 things break. The payment code tangles into email code, user logic scattered across 50 files, there's no clean boundaries anymore. In a well-built system, components are independent. Payment doesn't know about email, they talk through clean interfaces. In a tightly coupled system, everyone knows everything about everything. Developers are terrified to touch anything because every change has unpredictable side effects. So what do? They work around it. They add another layer on top, which makes it worse, which makes the next developer even more terrified, and the cycle repeats. I had one client who'd already hired 3 different agencies before coming to me, and that's 3. They spent over 100 grand, they had mockups, code, invoices, and nothing usable. Every agency inherited the last one's tightly coupled mess. Every agency made it worse. That's 3 agencies, over 100K, nothing usable, and that's a serious trap. And it's common in software. Sometimes you can untangle it incrementally, sometimes the only option is a full rewrite. The expensive part isn't the code, it's figuring out which one you're dealing with. And then you got trap 5, where you just have no monitoring, no error handling, and you're flying completely blind. If something breaks in production, how do you know? Customer complaint, maybe a tweet, maybe, or you just don't know. Picture this, your checkout flow fails for 10% of users. Some edge cases with a specific card type, those users don't call support, they just leave. You're losing 10% of revenue for 2 months before someone mentions it offhand. That's 2 months, 10% of your revenue, gone. And the whole time your dashboard says everything's fine because your dashboard doesn't know what it can't see. So from anywhere from 25 to 45K to add monitoring after the fact, not counting the revenue you already lost, but all the infrastructure needs to be set up, and not counting the users who left and never came back. These 5 traps have the same story every time, and here's the thing nobody tells you. These traps don't show up on day 1, they show up 6 months in, a year in, after compounding technical decisions. Right when things are going well, right when you think you're past the hard part, that's what makes technical debt so dangerous. It's invisible until it's expensive. Think about it like a house. You pour a thin foundation, skip the drainage, use the cheapest framing, minimal electrical, the house stands, looks fine, you moved on. 6 months later, the foundation can crack. Can't add a second floor, the basement floods every time it drains, and the breakers keep tripping when you run the AC. You call a contractor, they take one look and say, we can fix the symptoms, but the foundation, that's a different conversation. The fix costs 3 times more than building it right the first time, and you have to live somewhere else while they do the work. Software is the exact same, except worse, because while your software is down for a rebuild, your users don't wait, they leave. Now let me break down how the math usually plays out. The cheap path, say 35K initial build, you can ship fast, everyone's happy, and 6 months later, you could have 120K rebuild where you're spending months rebuilding what you thought you already had, which could bring your costs closer to 155. Plus you have all this lost revenue, lost users, and lost time. Now the right path, you could have the 65K initial build with 10K a year in maintenance, and the total could be over 2 years at like 85K. That's still working, still scaling, and still shipping features. Now the expensive option up front may be actually half the price in the long run. And here's the catch. These numbers only work if the team actually knows what they're doing, which is the whole problem, right? How do you know? Are you going to trust a 19-year-old vibe coder or the 30-year-old seasoned engineer who's worked at VC startups? Because it's important you understand that while the initial cost might be more upfront, the long-term cost might be far less. And don't forget the opportunity cost. 6 months rebuilding is 6 months you're not growing. Your competitors are shipping features while you're rewriting code that should have worked the first time. 6 months of lost momentum in a startup can be the difference between raising your next round and running out of runway. I've watched it happen. A founder has traction, has users, has revenue growing, then the rebuild hits, everything stalls, and investors start asking questions. Team morale drops because everybody is just sick of being in crisis mode, and the founder's back to square one, except now they've burned through half of their runway. So here are 4 questions that you should ask any technical team before you write the first check. 1. What happens at 10 times our current scale? If the answer is vague, it's a red flag. 2. Something simple as security. How are passwords stored? What auth frameworks are we using? What is the tech stack? Will it last? If they're building auth from scratch, ask why. The answer better be goddamn good. And 3. How do you know if something breaks in production? You want to hear Sentry, Datadog, PagerDuty, Rootly. Not users will report it, but whether we have instrumentation observability tools set up from the start. And 4, show me how you test this. If there's no automated tests, you're paying for bugs later. And 1 bonus red flag. If someone's excited about using bleeding edge tech on your dime, be worried, because they're getting paid to learn as opposed to getting paid to build. And in many cases, boring tech wins for your core infrastructure. You want to be using tools like Postgres, Redis, proven, documented, maintainable. Pick the proven stack for your foundation. You can always add the shiny stuff on top, but you want something that's reliable, that's been used by many different teams, so you know you have the confidence of what you're building on. You don't want to be an experimental guinea pig for some new state-of-the-art, quote unquote state-of-the-art feature set or library that very little people are using. Now, if your budget is 35K, not 65K, these questions still apply because they apply even more. Because at 35K, you can't afford to waste $1 on the wrong foundation. And here's the reality. You don't pay for technical depth up front, you pay for it later with interest. And every founder learns this eventually. Most learn it the expensive way, but remember that 50K build, it didn't have to become 200K. You should ask the questions, look for the red flags, find the right technical co-founder or technical partner that can help you get there. And the expensive developer who does it right the first time is often the cheaper option. Because if your features are taking twice as long as they should and you can't figure out why, you have a problem. And to get around this, please book a strategy session with me. The link is in the description. We'll audit where the debt is hiding and give you a plan to stop the compound interest. That's what I do. Don't learn this the hard way. Work with seasoned professionals who've done this before, who understand how to build on boring tech and build something that's scalable, maintainable, and most importantly, going to get you the ROI you're looking for.